looking for tone or spasticity is for the upper extremity, I like to sit and next to the patient and be comfortable with them. If I'm going to have her standing like this, I would raise the mat up so I can have good body mechanics. But you'll find you sit a lot to try to kind of keep your own energy reserves, and then they feel more comfortable. So instead of me being like, "Hi, I'm standing over," so we'll pretend. I'm going to be videoing it, and we'll post it on the GroupMe, hopefully, or some way. Share later. But so for the upper extremity, I like to start distal and move proximal. And we're going to move slowly through the available range of motion first. And then in some parts, we're going to go fast because we're going to be assessing for spasticity. Okay? So first, I'm going to start with just looking at your thumb range of motion, nice and slow. That looks good. Sometimes someone can have some thumb flexor spasticity. So then I might slowly and then quickly bring it out to feel for a catch. I'm also supporting her hand at the wrists because a lot of my neuro patients, they have wrist weakness. So if I'm like holding here, they're all floppy. So I like to hold here. Then I'm going to just overall look at her fingers, slowly move them. And then we can often get some finger flexor spasticity. So then slowly move and then quickly move. And if we have spasticity, we would feel a catch and we might even feel some clonus. I also usually do this, I'm holding this up so you can see, but I usually do this having her arm down by her side while I'm doing this. But I'm holding this up here so everyone can see. We'll modify length. You wouldn't have her arm holding, it would be laying down comfortably on the side. Okay. So that is looking at the fingers, slowly and quick, feeling for a catch. Then wrist, I'm going to slowly move the wrist and quick. A lot of times, clonus, you guys remember talking about clonus? You can get clonus in the wrist as well. And it's wrist flexors where we tend to see our spasticity. So the quick movement, and then if you sustain it, that's where you might then see this clonus movement. All right, then I'm going to come down here and I move to my elbow. Again, I'm going to lift it up so you guys can see. But it would be laying comfortably down by her side, so I'm going to start to bend her elbow up and down. And we tend to have our spasticity on our elbow flexors. So I will bend it all the way and then quickly extend. And they say it's like 1/1001 is the speed that you want to do. Yes, absolutely.
So we don't test the extensor spasticity typically?
In neuro patients, typically we don't see extensor spasticity, so no. You would be feeling for that. And you would be feeling for like a catch, and then can you keep going, or is it difficult to move, or is it rigid?
Dr. Gloria, how painful would that be to the patient?
It's not painful, no. And when you work with patients with spasticity, this makes a lot more sense. Then I'm going to support under the elbow, and I'm going to internally rotate and externally rotate. And just feel, if I feel any restrictions, a lot of times we start getting limited external rotation. And sometimes, too, we might have internal rotator spasticity, so I will slowly go and then quickly, 1/1001, go from internal rotation to external rotation. So the key areas that I'm looking for spasticity are finger flexors, wrist flexors, elbow flexors, internal rotators. And sometimes you might also get a little catch in your thumb too. And then last, we can just look at our passive range of motion of the shoulder. I'm going to be real cautious of going over 90 until I know, any pain there? You okay? Okay, I'm going to see if I can go a little further. But I tend to be real cautious because overhead shoulder pain is common with our neuro patients. That's also likewise while I'm not going way out here into abduction. Again, because of trying to avoid pain. Okay, so that's for the upper extremity. Now for the lower extremity. So if you see me doing this is kind of like, if I'm working with a patient, I'll use my knee to support so it's elevated. You would adjust the mat for body mechanics, obviously, but I'm going to start distal, relax, kind of feel that a lot of our patients have tightness and restrictions and dorsiflexion. So I want to know how much range do they have, and then I'm going to 1001 quickly move it. And sustain the pressure because you'll potentially feel a catch, and then if you sustain it, then you might continue to get that the clonus. Okay, so looking for the plantar flexors. Then I'm going to go 90-90 here. And extend. Woo! Kind of get an idea of what kind of straight leg raise that we have. And we're going to look at spasticity for both the quads and the knee flexors. So I can start from here and then drop it, or quickly drop it. And then I can also go from full knee flexion and quickly straight. With the count being 1001. Hip adductors is another area where we might have spasticity. So we come and then we quickly 1001. Go from there. And then we can evaluate our passive range of motion for hip flexion. How far can we bring that knee up and back? We don't have to vary the speed of that one. The varying the speed is the plantar flexors, knee flexors, hip flexors, adductors. And then you would look toward the other side. Okay? Just wanted to demonstrate that really quickly.
Can you say the order again for the extremity?
Foot, ankle first. Huh? Oh,
Yeah.
you could if you. A lot of times we do have toe flexor spasticity, but just general screening. I mean, you could, but.
Did you say knee flexors?
Knee flexors and knee extensors. And the easiest position to do it is get their leg and straight leg raise and then drop it to evaluate the knee, not drop it, but quickly move it for knee extension and then knee flexion to extension for hamstring spasticity. And then adductors. First for passive range of motion and quickly moving on a count of 1001 to assess for spasticity. And it's really hard to practice that when you don't have spasticity. It's much easier to feel it if you're working with patients that have spasticity. All right, external rotation of the hip. I get the leg in 90-90, hip 90 flexion, knee flexion 90-90, and then I rotate slowly in and out. And it's a great way to actually evaluate and feel if there's any limitations for heterotopic ossification. In this case, I'm just slowly moving it. Less issues with spasticity here, but if you find, especially with internal not being able to bring the leg all the way out, you'll feel a difference between one side and the other, and that could be some heterotopic ossification, or HO. Thank you. I want to just demonstrate it first. You'll have time to practice it next week.